Greetings, mighty companions, and welcome back to Practical and Healing Applications of A Course in Miracles with me and Rebecca Quinn. Thank you for joining this broadcast, this Course in Miracles class. We're going to be talking about A Course in Miracles in this class. That is what this class is about. I'm a Course in Miracles teacher of 40 years now, and this is my passion. And the reason that I am so committed to A Course in Miracles after all this time is because it works. The purpose of A Course in Miracles is peace of mind, and it delivers what it promises. Its purpose is peace of mind, because when you have peace of mind, you have everything. The purpose of the Course in Miracles isn't knowledge. The purpose of A Course in Miracles is peace of mind, because when you have peace of mind, you have knowledge. That's what knowledge is. To say that you know that you have knowledge, but you don't have peace of mind is inconsistent. Peace of mind and knowledge go together. Peace and truth go together. So when you say you know the truth, but you don't have peace, then you don't really know the truth. So we're going to hear the Course in Miracles teach us tonight about what is the truth about us, so that we can experience the peace of mind that comes from knowing the real truth about ourselves. Now, where does the real truth about ourselves come from? It comes from our author, the source of our being, God, which is love. So in A Course in Miracles, we hear about the essential truth about our being that was established by our source in our creation. So that's what we're going to be hearing about in A Course in Miracles. And to know thyself is to love thyself, is to have peace of mind. That's why we've heard for eons, know thyself, know thyself. Why? Why would you want to know thyself? Because to know thyself is to love thyself, is to have peace of mind. If you don't have peace of mind, if you don't have joy, then it's only because you don't know yourself. It's not because you're defective. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you've been corrupted. It's not because you've been deprived. It's because you don't know the truth about yourself, because you were taught by people who didn't know the truth about themselves. So we're going to hear the truth about ourselves as established by our Creator, so that we can return back to the natural peace and joy that we were created in and by. This is what A Course in Miracles teaches us. Hi, Mary. Thank you so much, honey. It's lovely to see you. Very lovely to see you. Okay. So where we're going to be today is we are going to be we'll be in the Blue Book, coming out of the Blue Book today, chapter 14, section 3. It's titled The Decision for Guiltlessness. Okay. So I'm not sure what it is in the original edition, but I'm sure it's close. And this is, in a way, a follow-up from the class that Greg and I did last night, where it talked about happiness, how to learn how to be happy. So part one of this was really Greg's and my class last night at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center. And it was all about how to learn how to be happy. We were talking about how happiness is our natural state. We were created in and by happiness. Happiness is our natural state. That is who and what we are. But because of what we have done to our minds, what we have learned falsely, we don't experience happiness as our natural state. And so we are now learners of our natural state. Since we've denied our natural state, our truth, now we have become learners. We have to learn what is the truth about us. We have to learn how to be happy and joyous and peaceful. That is our natural state, but that we had denied ourselves, that we had that had been taught out of us, so to speak. So This section today talks a lot about the the happy learner, like we were talking about last night, how to learn well. I titled this class "How to Learn Your Lessons Quickly so that you can get back to your joy." How to learn this lesson quickly so you can get back to joy. If you are experiencing anything but joy, but happiness, it is because you need to learn the truth about yourself so that you can get back to your natural state of happiness and joy. So, this is about how to learn your lesson of truth, of the truth about how you about who you are quickly, so you can get back to your joy. So, how to learn quickly. Have you ever noticed that some lessons seem to take a long time? It seems like you gotta play out the problem many times, and it seems like it takes a long time for you to learn the lesson. And then sometimes you don't learn the lesson because here it comes again, and then you don't learn the lesson, and then here it comes again in another form, in another place, in another time. So this is how you learn the lesson that's being presented to you. Learn it quickly so it doesn't take weeks, months, years, lifetimes. You learn it quickly and you get back to your natural state of joy. So, if you're going through anything right now that doesn't feel joyous, if you're not experiencing joy right now, it's because you are learning a lesson. A lesson is presented before you. Course in Miracles says all lessons, all trials, all lessons, all trials are but lessons that you have failed to learn that are being presented once again, so that where you failed to learn before, you can now learn better and more quickly. So, if you're experiencing something besides joy, if you're experiencing a trial, it's a lesson that you didn't learn before that's being presented again, so that where you didn't learn before, you can now learn and learn it quickly and get back to your joy. Okay. Hi, Trisha. Lovely to see you, my beautiful companion. Thank you for putting the section in there. And here we go. Oh, I have the wrong section on here, so let me edit that so that and what is this? It is 14:3, the decision for guiltlessness. Okay. All right. That's what it is. Okay. That's where we're at. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, guys. So here we go. It says in the decision for guiltlessness, it says the happy learner, meaning the fast learner, cannot feel guilty about learning. Okay. If you are experiencing pain, if you're experiencing anything but joy, it's because you are not learning something that's been presented to you. Okay. And what makes our learning so slow is that we feel guilty about learning. Here we are, we've got a lesson that's being presented again. Instead of going, oh, how wonderful, here's another opportunity to learn this lesson so I can get back to my joy. Let me learn it, and let me learn it quickly. Instead of that, we tend to just give ourselves guilt about whatever this lesson is, whatever this problem is. First of all, we don't recognize that the problem is a lesson. We don't recognize that the trial is a lesson that we failed to learn in the past, being presented once again. And instead of being grateful for that opportunity to learn that lesson, we feel guilty about the lesson, the problem. Okay. He says, so the happy learner, the fast learner, cannot feel guilty about learning. Now, Not feeling guilty about learning is so essential to learning that not feeling guilty about learning should never be forgotten. The connection between learning quickly and learning well and not feeling guilty, that is a connection. Feeling guilty, not feeling guilty is so essential to learning that lesson quickly that this must never be forgotten. And that's because people who don't feel guilty about still learning, these folks learn easily. They learn quickly. Why do they learn easily and quickly? The people who are not feeling guilty about still learning, because these folks' thoughts are free. So when you're not feeling guilty about still learning like everybody else's, then your thoughts are free. And then you learn quickly. Then you learn fast the lesson that you failed to learn in the past that now is being presented again. And now you learn that lesson quickly and you get back to your joy. So, it says the guiltless learner learns easily because their thoughts are free. So, whatever it is that you're suffering with right now, this is a lesson, this is a trial, this is a lesson that you didn't learn in the past that's being presented again, so that where you made a faulty choice before, you can make a better choice now. And there's no need to feel guilty about it. And the more guilty you feel about this lesson that is being presented once again graciously, then the quicker you will learn the lesson and get back to the joy and the peace that is your natural state, because that is all your creator wants for you. And that's all the only reality your creator has created for you. You know, you were created as happy, you were created by happy, and you were created in happiness. Okay. And the only thing that is keeping you from learning this lesson easily, learning it quickly, and getting back to your natural joy is your decision to feel guilty about still learning. Okay. Now, why in the world would any of us feel guilty about learning? Right? Learning is what we came here to do. We're all learning here. The Course in Miracles actually says living here is learning. This is, the earth is a school, and the body is a school that people come to learn the lessons that they did not learn in the past. This is a learning school. That's what earth is. Living here is learning. So why is it that we feel guilty about still learning when that is what earth is for? That's what we're here to do. If you had learned perfectly, you had already learned the lesson of your truth, which is innocence. If you had already learned that lesson perfectly, you wouldn't need to be here in earth learning school, right? But yet we still feel guilty for learning. It's like, as adults, we're like, oh, well, I'm an adult. I shouldn't be still learning anything. I should have mastered everything. I should be perfect. I should know everything. I should have mastery by now because I'm an adult. Well, the Course in Miracles says that's not the way it is. If you live in here, you're still learning, which means if you're here, if you're living here, it means you have denied the essential truth of your guiltlessness, your innocence as created by God. And so here you are in a body on earth needing to learn the truth about yourself. And what is the truth about ourselves that we forgot and that we denied, that brought us back here to earth school? The truth about our existence and our being is guiltlessness, is innocence. That's it. That's what we've denied. That's what we've forgotten. And that is what has landed us back in earth school. Okay. Now, to whatever extent you are delaying your learning, to whatever extent you are hindering your learning of the truth about yourself, it's to whatever extent you are feeling guilty about still learning the truth about yourself. And all problems and all suffering, all of it is a denial of the truth about ourselves. I'm suffering. I got this problem because I have forgotten the truth about myself. I'm denying the truth about myself, and that's why I got this problem, and that's why I am suffering. And so that's why I'm here. Okay. And so if you want to learn quickly and easily the truth about yourself and end that problem, that suffering, which came from the denial of your truth, the only way to learn quickly and fast and get back to your essential joy is to decide that you are not guilty for still learning. It's like, oh, well, I'm guilty for still learning. No, you're not. You're here because you're still learning. Okay. Trisha says, yes, that lesson is being presented again and again, but in a different form, in a different person, but the same lesson. I see. Exactly. That's exactly right. There's only one lesson that we fail to learn. And this lesson is being presented again so that where you made a faulty choice before, you can make a better one. And that is that you are innocent. You are guiltless as your creator created you. That's the lesson that we have. The lesson is we have remained exactly as God created us in eternal, changeless guiltlessness, sinlessness, innocence, wholeness, all synonyms for the way we were created by our creator and the way that we remain in our essential truth. Okay, that's the one lesson that we are here to learn. And once we learn, oh, I am as guiltless and sinless as I was created by my creator, no matter what I think, no matter what I think I've done, no matter what seems to be happening, the truth is still true about me, and the truth is guiltlessness. Once you learn that and finally accept that, then the need for learning is over, and then you graduate Earth School and go on to the next higher grade of learning. Okay, beautiful. Mary says, I'm still turning romantic relationships into special relationships. It's taking me years and years to remember to stop doing this. I am learning, but I am also feeling guilty. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. So, Mary, I want to tell you that you are still learning the same lesson that everybody else here is learning. And there's only one lesson we're all learning, and we're all learning it here. If we are here, we're all learning the same lesson. So, Mary, there ain't no reason in the whole wide world to feel guilty about still learning about the truth about yourself. And notice that when is it and in what context do we tend to forget the truth about ourselves as innocent the most or the fastest? Where is it? It's in our special relationships. It's in our relationships. That's where we tend to forget the fastest, the truth about ourselves, that we are innocent, even if we're still learning, that we're guiltless, right? And so, Mary, I just want to support you in not feeling guilty about still learning and not feeling guilty about being tempted to feel guilty in the context of a relationship. I mean, that's what we're all doing. So don't feel guilty so that you can learn this lesson that you're guiltless and sinless no matter what is going on, no matter what thinks about you, no matter who's around, no matter who's not around, so that you can learn that lesson quickly and get back to your native, natural, innocent joy of being. All right. So I support you in that, Mary. And thank you for sharing. You are not alone. We're all tempted to forget about and deny our essential sinlessness and innocence in our relationships. Okay. So you're not alone. So don't feel guilty. Okay. All right. The more you decide that you are guiltless, then the quicker you're going to learn this lesson and the quicker you're going to get back to your natural joy of being. Okay. All right. Beautiful. So it says, right. So the guiltless learner learns easily because the guiltless learner's thoughts are free. Yet to learn easily because your thoughts are free, this entails the recognition that guilt is interference, not salvation. And also, this to be able to learn quickly and easily because your thoughts are free from guilt, this also entails the recognition that guilt serves no useful function at all. Yeah, and that, okay. So if you want to learn from this quickly and easily and get back to your natural joy so that your thoughts are free from fear and guilt, if you want to do that, it entails the recognition that guilt is not only interference, but that guilt serves no useful purpose at all. Whew. I know that's hard to believe. I know that's the opposite of everything we have ever learned since the day we took the first breath in our body, and maybe for lifetimes before that. I know that is the opposite of everything that we have been taught to believe, but it is the truth. Guilt is interference in learning, and guilt serves no useful purpose at all. It doesn't help in anything good. It doesn't help you to accomplish anything real and any joy and peace. Guilt does not serve any useful purpose at all. Okay, so here you are, you got a trial, which is a lesson you failed to learn in the past being presented again. Well, feeling guilty about that is never going to help you learn. It's never going to help you learn what you need to learn in order to be happy and healthy and wealthy and wise. Okay, guilt ain't good for nothing except for making you a slow learner. Okay. You know, what do we say about slow learners? You know, we don't want to be slow learners. Okay. Learners are those who make mistakes over and over again, and they're suffering from those mistakes over and over again, and they don't learn. They don't learn to do anything differently. That's what a slow learner is. I keep making the same mistakes, and I keep suffering from the same mistakes over and over and over and over. That's what it means to be a slow learner. It means that it's taken me a long time of suffering to learn this lesson when I could have learned it right off the bat just by remembering the truth. I don't want to be a slow learner anymore. Slow learner means extended suffering. I don't want that. Okay. All right. Only people who are guilty, only those who are guilty deserve to suffer for a long time, you know, with lessons that they could learn quickly and easily and joyously. Okay. Okay, so great. So if you want to be a fast learner, if you want to learn this lesson, which is just a lesson that you didn't learn before being presented once again, if you want to learn quickly and easily, it entails the recognition of, number one, that guilt is interference in learning. It's not going to help you. And number two, that guilt serves no useful purpose at all. It's not going to help you with anything. Okay. All right. Guilt is not going to help. Okay, great. Okay, beautiful. So now we're on paragraph 2. It says, now perhaps you are accustomed to using guiltlessness merely to offset the pain of guilt, which means perhaps you don't look upon guiltlessness as having value in itself. That's right. Instead of the only time we will even entertain our guiltlessness is when somebody's making an accusation against us that we're guilty. We go, I'm not guilty, I'm innocent. So the only time we accept our innocence is when we're defending ourselves against somebody's accusation. Okay, that's not real guiltlessness. Guiltlessness is something that is your truth. It is your essential nature as created by God, who is only love. So we're only accustomed to using guiltlessness to defend ourselves against some kind of guilty accusation from others, right? That's the only way we're accustomed to using our guiltlessness is in a defense. Okay. And in other words, that's right. We don't look upon guiltlessness as having value in itself, right? In other words, we believe that guilt and guiltlessness are both of value, each one representing an escape from what the other one does not offer us. In other words, we don't want guilt or guiltlessness alone because we think that without both guilt and guiltlessness, we don't see ourselves as whole, which means happy. Yet the truth is that you are whole and you are happy only in your guiltlessness. And only in your guiltlessness can you be happy. Yeah, you don't need both to be whole and happy. And you can only be whole, which means happy, in guiltlessness. You can only be happy with the truth that you are only guiltlessness, and that's it, right? We believe that, that to be whole, you have to be both guilty and innocent, right? But that is not the truth. If that was the truth, then we'd all be happy because we've all experienced both innocence and guilt. So if being both guilty and innocent made you complete and whole, then we'd all be happy, right? We'd all be experiencing our wholeness, but that is not how we're experiencing it right now, right? And so the truth is that you can only be whole, which means happy, which means complete, in your essential guiltlessness. So you'll never get to happiness by going, well, I'm guilty here, or I'm guilty sometimes, and sometimes I'm guilty, sometimes they're guilty. Sometimes I'm innocent. That will never bring about the wholeness of happiness. And it says there's no conflict here because to wish for guilt in any way, in any form, to accept your guilt in any way, in any form, or to wish for guilt in any way or any form, you will lose appreciation of the value of your guiltlessness, and you will push your guiltlessness from your sight. Wow. So, if you wish for guilt in anyone, in any form, or if you accept guilt for yourself in any way, in any form, then you will push your true innocence and guiltlessness, sinlessness from your sight. If you are accepting guilt in any form, or if you are wishing for guilt in any form, where is it right now that you are accepting guilt within yourself? Where is it that you are wishing for guilt or punishment in anyone else? Okay, where is that? Well, that is where you are pushing your essential innocence and guiltlessness out of your awareness and experiencing suffering. Okay, what happens when you're not aware of your guiltlessness? What happens when you're accepting the lie of guilt in your mind, within yourself or in another? You cannot be happy. You cannot be accepting guilt or projecting guilt and be happy at the same time. That's what A Course in Miracles is teaching us. I know that is not what we have learned. I know that's hard to believe, but what A Course in Miracles is telling us is the truth. Yeah. You cannot experience guilt or project guilt and also be happy. Now, we attribute our unhappiness to everything, and everyone except our own belief in guilt. We think I'm not happy because of something out there that is happening to me, and that's the reason I can't be happy. I can't be happy because of the weather. I can't be happy because of this relationship. I can't be happy because I don't have enough money. I can't be happy because of what's happening in my body. I can't be happy because of what's happening in the government. I can't be happy because of what's happening in the world. The Course in Miracles says that is not why you're not happy. You're not happy, according to A Course in Miracles, because you are believing in a lie about yourself. You are denying the truth about yourself. And that truth is your essential guiltlessness, sinlessness. Yes, you can be mistaken. Yes, you can make errors. That's obvious. That's really obvious that you can be mistaken and that you can be make mistakes. That you can be mistaken and that you can make mistakes. That's obvious. But you can't be guilty, no matter what mistakes you've made. You can't change reality. You can't change the way God has created you to be. You can't change the nature of reality as God has established it. And the nature of reality as God has established it is innocence, guiltlessness, sinlessness. That's reality as established by God. You can't change that, even if you make a bunch of errors, even if you make a bunch of errors that other people or you call a sin. Still can't change reality. And that's why A Course in Miracles says there is no sin, because you can't change reality with your errors. Yes, you can be mistaken, but you can't change reality as established by God. And why are we not rejoicing? Why are we not rejoicing to realize that we didn't change reality, our essential innocent nature, by our mistakes? Why are we not rejoicing to go, hallelujah, frickin' Luya. I'm so glad I didn't change my innocent nature just by my mistakes. Hi, Diana Dimples. I love it. Diana Dimple Miracles. Love it. It's beautiful. Okay. Beautiful. That was paragraph number 2. And if you guys wouldn't mind liking and sharing and subscribing, if you are not subscribed already, that would be so helpful in letting the algorithm know that this content is important, and it will push this class out to more. And also, guys, if you want to find this class and any of my live stream classes, the place to find them is on my YouTube channel, Rebecca Quinn, and go to the live tab. That's where all my live streams are. I don't know why all my live streams just don't show up in my general video content on my YouTube channel. I don't know why. But if you want to find any of my live stream classes, which is most of my classes, hit the live tab and then hit the bell for notification and hit all. So that's a way to see all my classes. And if you want to be notified whenever I go live, then go to the notification bell and click on all. And that way, whenever I go live, you'll be notified. All right. And also check to see if you're still subscribed. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes people. I don't know why. Well, I think I do know why, but but that's a way around that. So just saying. Okay, beautiful. All right, guys. Now we're going to go to paragraph number 3. Yes. Okay. Paragraph number 3. There is no compromise that you can make with guilt and escape the pain that only guiltlessness alleviates. Okay. You can't make any deal with guilt. Like, I'll feel just guilty a little bit and escape the pain. Okay. Uh, Pain comes from guilt. So if you're entertaining and accepting any guilt at all, you're going to experience pain. You can't be like, oh, well, I'll just do a little bit of guilt and escape the pain that comes with guilt. You can't do that, right? The only thing that alleviates pain is the acceptance of the fact of your guiltlessness. So if you're feeling pain right now, it's because you're feeling guilty about learning, about making mistakes. That's what learning is. What is learning except trial and error, making mistakes? That's what learning is. So if you're feeling pain right now in any form, it's because you're feeling guilty for something you shouldn't be feeling guilty about, like learning or like making mistakes, which learning is. That's what learning means. It means trial and error, making mistakes and learning from them. So I want you to hear that. The pain that you're experiencing right now is coming from a feeling of guilt for still learning. Okay? There's no need to feel guilty about learning. Making mistakes is how we learn. And so the goal here is not to not learn. The goal here is to learn more quickly, so that the pain you're experiencing with this lesson doesn't last months or years or lifetimes. The goal here is to learn so quickly that you experience the lesson, you feel the pain of the learning. Oh, I'm learning. Oh, you feel the pain of the mistake. And then you go, oh, yeah, this means I'm feeling guilty about learning, but there's no need. And the lesson really here is that I'm still innocent, that I'm not guilty just because I'm learning. And then boom, then you learn that lesson and then you go back to your joy. Okay. So then it says, learning is living here. So that's what living here means. Living here is learning. You don't come here when you don't need to learn anymore. Everybody is here because they still need to learn the truth about themselves that they have denied themselves. Learning is living here, just like creating is being in heaven or reality. Okay. Now, now it's going to give us a very practical prayer to say when the pain of guilt is attracting us. Isn't that interesting? When the pain of guilt seems to attract you. Okay. If you're feeling pain, it's because guilt is attracting you. You feel attracted to feeling guilty about this learning, about this mistake. Okay. That's what's going on when you're experiencing pain. Where is it right now that you're experiencing pain? Body, mind, or spirit? Where is that? Okay. That's where you're learning a lesson. You've made a mistake. Another opportunity to learn a lesson has been presented to you, and you're attracted to feeling guilty again. That's what the pain means. I'm attracted to feeling guilty. I'm tempted by feeling guilty about this learning that I am being presented with again. Okay, so this is a prayer for what to do when the pain of feeling guilty about this lesson is attracting you. Okay, this is the prayer to say so that you can learn the lesson quickly, end the pain, and get on with your learning and get back to your joy. Here is the prayer, okay? Totally practical here. I say, If you are experiencing any pain right now, write it down and use it, 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 use it. Every time you're feeling that pain, memorize it, use it every day to heal the pain that you are currently attracted to. Okay, here it goes. Whenever the pain of guilt seems to attract you, remember that if you yield to the guilt about this lesson, you are deciding against your happiness, which means you will not learn how to be happy. Okay, whew. All right. What's the opportunity here? To learn how to be happy. Okay, I'm not happy. How do I know? Because I'm experiencing pain. Remember, pain means not happy. Okay. So I'm experiencing pain. I'm not happy, but I want to learn how to be happy so that I don't experience this pain. And so I need to recognize that I am in pain and I am being attracted to feeling guilty about this lesson. Okay. And I need to remember that if I yield to feeling guilty about this lesson, then I'm not going to learn the lesson, which is how to be happy. So, therefore, say to yourself gently, but with the conviction born of God's love for you, say to yourself gently, what I experience, I will make manifest. If I am guiltless, I have nothing to fear and nothing to hurt around. And so I'm going to choose to testify to my acceptance of my guiltlessness and not to its rejection. I want to accept my guiltlessness by making it manifest, which means sharing it. I want to accept my guiltlessness and make my guiltlessness manifest. How? By sharing it. Let me bring peace to God's children from God. Okay. This is the prayer to say when you are experiencing pain, which means when you are feeling guilty about a lesson that has been presented to you, for you to learn to choose once again in. This is the prayer to say. Okay? Very, very, very valuable. All right. So I'm going to say it again. And I want you to, if you can, I want you to close your eyes and bring to your awareness wherever it is you're feeling pain right now, body, mind, or spirit. Okay? Where is it you're feeling pain right now? I want you to bring that to your awareness. Take a breath. And I want you to say this to yourself. And I want you to say it to yourself gently, feeling God's love for you. I want you to say this to yourself. What I experience, I'm going to make manifest. But if I'm guiltless, then I have nothing to fear and I have nothing to hurt about. I choose to testify to my acceptance of my guiltlessness instead of my rejection of my guiltlessness. I want to accept my guiltlessness. And by making it manifest and sharing it, I want to accept my guiltlessness. I want to manifest my guiltlessness. And I want to share my guiltlessness. Let me bring peace to God's children from God instead of guilt, instead of pain. And take a breath. Beautiful. And then when you can, write it down. Write it down and use it. Use it every day while you're experiencing pain until the pain is gone. Okay. This is the decision for guiltlessness that enables you to learn very quickly because now your thoughts are free. When your thoughts are not free, when your thoughts are gummed up with guilt, then your thoughts aren't free and you can't learn quickly. Okay? All right. Mhm. Mary says, I want to be happy and know that I'm guiltless. I want to accept my guiltlessness. I join you in that, Mary. I join you in that decision. That is you making a decision. This prayer is how you make the decision for guiltlessness that will enable you to learn this lesson quickly because your thoughts are free. Beautiful. Awesome. Write it down. Write it down and put it on your mirror. Write it down and put it in your car. Write it down and memorize it. Okay. This is the way to alleviate the pain that comes from the belief in guilt. That's what this is. The way to alleviate the pain that comes from your decision to feel guilty instead of accepting the truth about this situation and learning from it quickly. Okay, beautiful. All right, so now we're on paragraph 4. And it says this. Yeah, Trisha also joins you, Mary. All right, so beautiful. Okay, now paragraph 4. Each day, each hour, and minute, even each second, you are deciding between your crucifixion and your resurrection. Woo. Okay, so if you're experiencing pain, that's you experiencing your crucifixion. The alleviation of your pain, that's your resurrection. How do you always feel when the pain ends? Woo, feel like I have resurrected. Thank you, Mary. And I'm deciding between my painful crucifixion or my joyous resurrection. And I am deciding between those two things every day, every hour, every minute, and even every second. Do I want to experience the pain of crucifixion, or do I want to experience the joy and the freedom of resurrection? That is what I am deciding between every single day and every single minute and every single second. Okay? Just saying. Now, your ego is the choice to feel guilty. And your loving right mind is the choice for guiltlessness, the choice to be guiltless. Okay? So your ego is always, I'm choosing to be guilty. And your loving right mind is, I'm choosing for my guiltlessness. I'm siding with my guiltlessness. So your ego is, I'm deciding to be guilty for learning. And my loving right mind is when I'm deciding for my essential true guiltlessness. Now, then it says, the power of decision is all that is yours. That's it. All the power that you have, all that is yours. The power of decision is all that is yours. That's your power. Your power is your decision. The power of decision is all that's yours. Okay. And you always have that. Nothing, and I mean nothing, can take away from you the power to decide what you want. Do you want the pain of guilt, or do you want the joy and peace of guiltlessness? That is your only decision, and that one decision is your power. And nothing can take away from you that decision, and nothing can take away from you that power. Okay? No matter what you're experiencing, you will always have the power to choose, no matter what's going on. You will always have the power to choose. Do I want to be guilty, or do I want to accept my true guiltlessness? Nothing can take away from you the power to choose, the power to decide for what you want. And the every day, each hour, every minute, even second, that is the choice that is being presented to you. All right. And that's your power of decision between guilt and guiltlessness for yourself. Now, what you can decide between is fixed because there are no alternatives except truth and illusion, guilt and guiltlessness. There's no alternatives to choose between. Either you're guilty or you're guiltless. Either you are accepting the truth about yourself or you are accepting illusions about yourself. And there is no overlap between those two. There's no compromise. There's no overlap. You can't be a little guiltless and along with being guilty some. Okay. And the reason that there's no overlap between your innocence and your guilt is because they are opposites which cannot be reconciled, which means they cannot both be true. Yeah. Your guiltlessness and your guilt, they are opposites, which means they cannot both be true. Only one can be true because they're opposites. And that's why there's no overlap. And that's why you got to choose. And that's why you are choosing every day, each hour, every minute, and even second. You are choosing between these two opposites that can't both be true. Okay. Now, in other words, you are guilty or you are guiltless. You are either bound or you are free. You are either unhappy or happy. It can't be a little bit of both. There is no compromise and there is no overlap. And that's why you're always having to choose and decide between those two alternatives. And there's no other alternatives to choose between. And you'll know which one you have chosen by how you feel. Do you feel pain? Well, then you must have chosen guilt. Do you feel joy and freedom? Then you must have chosen the truth about yourself, which is your guiltlessness. Now remember, to be guiltless does not mean that you don't make mistakes. It means you aren't guilty. It means you are guiltless no matter what mistakes you've made. Beautiful. Now, the miracle teaches you that you have chosen guiltlessness. Okay. And this is where we're at, of course. And now we're in paragraph 5. So the miracle teaches you that you have sided with guiltlessness. Okay. I choose my guiltlessness, even though I'm still learning and I've made mistakes, but I choose and I decide for my guiltlessness, which means that I have chosen freedom and I have chosen joy. So when I've decided that I am guiltless, whatever mistakes I've made, then I've decided and then I've chosen for my freedom and my joy. So if I decide, well, I'm guiltless, no matter what mistakes I've made, then I have chosen for my freedom, which means I have chosen for my joy. Now, the miracle is the natural result of choosing right. The miracle attests to your happiness that comes from choosing to be free of guilt. Okay, so I love it. It's interesting. It's a choice to be free of guilt. It's a choice. Now, the ego goes, no, that's a deception. You can't just choose to be guiltless. And the Course is saying, yes, you can. And choosing to be guiltless is really just choosing to be what you are, what you were already created to be forever. Okay, so I love that. This says the miracle is the natural result of choosing right. The miracle is the natural result of attesting to your happiness that comes from choosing to be free of guilt. Your happiness comes from choosing to be free of guilt. I'm choosing to be free of guilt. I'm choosing to not be guilty, even though I have made mistakes. Obviously, I've made mistakes because I'm not happy. But your happiness comes from choosing to be free of guilt. And everyone you offer release from guilt to returns release from guilt. In other words, and also everyone you attack keeps that guilt and cherishes that attack you gave them by holding that attack against you. Whether that so it goes like this: everyone whom you offer release from guilt to, they're going to return that innocence to you. Everyone you attack with guilt is going to cherish that guilt attack, and they're going to hold that guilt attack against you. Now, whether they actually hold your guilt attack against you or not will make no difference, because you will think that they are holding your guilt attack against you. You will think that they are. Why? Because it is impossible to offer guilt, which is an attack, without the penalty of perceiving that they are cherishing that attack you gave them and holding it against you. So if you offer guilt attack to another, they're going to cherish that guilt attack and they're going to hold it against you. Now, whether or not they hold this guilt attack against you or not will make no difference, because you will perceive that they are. That's because it's impossible to offer what you don't want, which is a guilt attack, without this penalty of believing that they are cherishing that attack and holding it against you. That's the penalty of offering the guilt, which is an attack. Because the cost of giving is receiving. The cost of giving is receiving. What's going to be the cost of what I'm offering? Well, I'm going to receive back whatever it is. Even if they're not giving it back to me, I'm going to think they are. The cost of giving is receiving. Now, either the receiving is a penalty from which you suffer, or what you're receiving will be the happy purchase of a treasure to hold dear. The cost of giving is receiving, and either it is a penalty from which you suffer, or it is the happy purchase of a treasure to hold dear. So what is it that you are giving? Are you giving guilt, or are you giving release from guilt? Well, whatever it is that you're giving, you're going to receive it, even if they're not giving it back to you. You're going to still experience it yourself. The cost of giving is receiving. So, what is it that you want to give? Always ask yourself, before you give any kind of guilt, before you attack somebody else with guilt, ask yourself, is this something that I want to receive back? Because I'm gonna. Is this something that I want to receive back? Is this something I want to receive? Before you give anybody an attack of guilt, before you give anybody guilt, ask yourself, is this what I want to receive back? Either from them or someone else or in my imagination. Because the cost of giving is receiving. All right. Beautiful. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you, Mary. Mary says, I want the joy and peace of guiltlessness and the power to choose. Wow, the Course is such a relief from darkness, indeed. The Course in Miracles is such a relief from pain. It's a relief from pain. The Course in Miracles is not some philosophical, theoretical thing. The Course in Miracles is offering us, if we will use it, real deal relief from pain. You know, it was the Course in Miracles power to alleviate the pain, the deep pain that I was in, that I thought nothing could relieve. That where I discovered and where I realized the true power of these ideas. I was like, wow, if A Course in Miracles can alleviate that kind of pain, it can do anything. And I'm going to devote my life to teaching it. And that is how, and that's how and when I decided that I was going to pursue A Course in Miracles as my life path. Because of its ability to relieve the intense pain that I was in. I experienced the practical, immediate relief of the practicing of its ideas. That's how I knew it was for me. I was like, man, if it can do that, relieve that kind of pain, it can do anything. And the the intense pain I was experiencing was the intense pain or guilt that I was giving myself in a special relationship. In a special relationship, I was experiencing intense pain, which now I realize was intense guilt that I was experiencing. And only in the practicing of the guiltlessness that A Course in Miracles was reminding me was my essential truth, no matter what mistakes I had made, only then did I emerge from the deepest pain I had ever felt into the most ecstatic bliss of purpose and freedom and joy. And so it was like, so that's how I knew the Course was going to be my life path, because of that. So thank you, Mary. So Mary says, relief from pain, love that. I'm blown away of the changes in my perception since I started studying in 2018. Amen. And then Mary says, you demonstrate such joy and peace with the Course. Thank you, Mary. Yeah. I am a living demonstration of the power of the Course's ideas to enable somebody to emerge from the deepest mourning and arrive into the greatest bliss, of purpose and awareness of my truth. Right? Okay. Beautiful. So now we're going to go to paragraph 6. Oh, beautiful. Okay. All right, you guys. All right. Here we go. Paragraph 6. No penalty is asked of any child of God ever. No punishment is ever asked of us, a child of God, except by ourself and of ourself. Okay. Any kind of punishment for any errors that we've made, that is not coming from God. That is not coming from God. Any punishment for any errors we have made, any unlearned lessons, is only demanded of ourselves, and that's it. God does not believe that any child of God deserves any kind of punishment for any kind of mistake. The concept of punishment did not come from God. It came from us. It came from the ego, right? And so there's no punishment that is demanded or asked of anybody for any mistakes. So any belief that you deserve punishment for any mistakes that you've made, whatever they are, by the way, is only demanded of you and only you. God doesn't perceive that any of God's children deserve punishment for their errors. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay. God does not believe or perceive that any child of God deserves punishment for their errors. That's all us. Okay. Now it says, that God, our source, our creator, all it wants for us, all it's offering us is loving correction for our errors. And God isn't judging our errors. Of some of our errors are sins, and some of our errors are worse than others. All of our errors are the same to God. To God, there's only one error, and we're all making it, and we all deserve only loving correction. No matter what judgments we make on the differences between our errors and their errors, love doesn't see those differences. Love knows that all of our errors are the same, and that they all deserve only loving correction. And any demand of punishment or penalty for our errors is demanded only of us. And that's it. I know that's hard to believe, but that's what A Course in Miracles is telling us. And I hope it's true. That sounds like God. That sounds like a loving creator, right? Okay. So no penalty or punishment is ever asked of you except of yourself and by yourself and of yourself. And every chance given you to heal is another opportunity to replace darkness with light and fear with love. That's all every lesson is. It's just another opportunity for you to replace your perception of your guilt with the truth of your innocence. That's what every problem is. Every problem is the same. It's just another opportunity offered you to replace your belief in your guilt with the fact of your innocence. That's what every problem is. It's just an opportunity to replace what you learned falsely about your guilt and your sin with the truth of your guiltlessness. That's all it is. It's an opportunity given you again to replace your false beliefs of guilt with the fact of your innocence. It's not just another opportunity to punish yourself. Everybody, don't forget to breathe during this class. Don't forget to breathe. Yes, thank you. Mary says, thank you for sharing your personal story. Indeed. Thank you for appreciating that. Okay. Okay, great. So what is it? What is this lesson? What is this problem? It is a chance. It's a trial. That is another chance to replace. What does it say? Every trial is but a lesson that we failed to learn, presented once again, so that where we made a faulty choice to be guilty and punish ourselves in the past, we can make a better choice now and accept our guiltlessness and accept the loving correction of that belief in guilt. That's all that's going on. That's what this problem means. That's the opportunity presented in this problem. That's the gift that's being presented once again through this problem. It's a gift. It's an opportunity. Okay. Now, if you refuse this opportunity to allow your belief in your essential guilt to be replaced with the fact of your essential innocence, if you refuse this opportunity, then you're going to bind yourself to darkness because you did not choose to free another from guilt, and you refuse to enter into guiltlessness with them. What happened was you gave power to guilt. Okay, if you're going to refuse this opportunity to replace your belief in guilt with the fact of innocence, then you have you did not choose to free other people from guilt, and you gave power to the guilt, and you threw away the joyous opportunity to learn that guilt has no power. Ooh, that's what happens if you refuse this opportunity. What opportunity? The opportunity to replace the darkness of guilt with the light of the fact of innocence that was presented again through this pain, through this problem. Now, and by not dispelling the guilt, which is the darkness, now you became afraid of that guilt, and you became afraid of the light of truth. Now, the joy of learning that guilt has no power over you or anyone else, that is the happy lesson that love is teaching you. That's what love is teaching you. The happy lesson that guilt and darkness and pain have no power over you or any other child of God. That's a happy lesson that is being offered again for you to learn so that you can be free and happy again. It's being offered you again in this situation, through this situation. That's the opportunity. The opportunity is being presented to you once again to choose and side with guiltlessness so that you can be free of pain and happy again. That's what's really going on in this situation, in this problem where you're experiencing pain. And it calls it the happy lesson. The happy lesson that your higher loving right mind is teaching you right now. He's saying, hey, I want to teach you that your pain, your perception of guilt, your belief in guilt has no power over you or them or anyone. That's what your higher loving right mind wants to teach you. The happy lesson that this darkness, this belief in guilt has no power over you. And your loving right mind wants you to teach it with it. It wants you to teach this lesson. It wants you to learn this lesson. It wants you to learn this happy lesson, and it wants you to teach this happy lesson with love. It is love's happy lesson to teach you this lesson, as it will be your joy to teach this happy lesson that their guilt has no power over their innocence, just like your perception of guilt has no power over your sinlessness. This is the happy lesson that love wants to teach you, and love wants you to teach it too, because it's love's joy to teach it, and it's going to be your joy to teach this lesson to others as well. All right. Okay. How do I teach it then? Okay. It's going to be my joy to teach this happy lesson to others, that their belief in guilt has no power over their essential innocence. Okay, great. Well, how do I teach that then? How am I going to teach that lesson? Okay. Here's how you're going to do it. The way to teach this happy lesson that is your joy to teach is this. It's to teach this, that guiltlessness is invulnerability. Guiltlessness is invulnerability. And how do you teach it? You make your invulnerability, your guiltlessness manifest to everyone. Okay, great. How do I teach that? How do I teach? How do I manifest the invulnerability of guiltlessness? How do I manifest it? How do I teach it? because that's what's going to bring me joy and release from my darkness and pain. Here's how you do it. You make your guiltlessness manifest to everyone by teaching everyone that whatever they may try to do to you, that your perfect freedom from the belief that you can be harmed shows them that they are guiltless. In other words, show them that they can do nothing that can hurt you, and refuse to allow them to think that they can hurt you. And you do that by teaching them that the guiltlessness which you have accepted for yourself is also theirs. Wow. Let's take a breath on that one. Okay. So I am being taught by love in every situation, in every problem, that my guiltlessness has no power over my essential innocence. And I am being asked to teach that same thing to others, because that's where my joy and my healing will come from. Teaching this joyous, happy lesson to other people, that their belief in their guilt has no power over their essential innocence. But how am I going to teach that to them? Am I going to say that to them with words? No. I'm going to demonstrate. If you really want to, the Course in Miracles says teaching is demonstration. So if you're going to teach this lesson that they are guiltless so that you can learn it, then you're going to have to demonstrate to others that they are guiltless. But how do you demonstrate to others that they are guiltless? Except by demonstrating to them that whatever they may try to do to you, that they cannot hurt you, and that your invulnerability remains intact. Teach them that no matter what they may try to do to you, that they cannot hurt you, that you remain invulnerable to that attack. That's the only way to demonstrate that they are guiltless. The only way to demonstrate and to teach others that they are guiltless, which is the happy lesson you got to teach if you're going to learn it, is to demonstrate that whatever they may try to do to you, that they cannot hurt you. Demonstrate, manifest your invulnerability by demonstrating that no matter what they try to do to you, that they cannot hurt you. You remain exactly as God created you, guiltless, sinless, complete, eternal, whole. That's the only way to teach this happy lesson that love wants you to teach, because love knows that's the only way that you're going to learn that your own perception, belief in sin has no power over you. Wow. That's the way to teach this happy lesson. That is your joy, the happy lesson about your own invulnerability. Don't you want to experience your own invulnerability so that you're not afraid of their ego, your ego, whatever? The only way to experience your own invulnerability is to demonstrate it to other people, that whatever they may try to do to you, that they cannot hurt you. You remain invulnerable to attack because the ego, their ego or yours, has no power over you. If you are experiencing hurt from them trying to do an attack on you, you are demonstrating that you are vulnerable, that what God created can be hurt, can be attacked. And that's not true. So for you to learn this happy lesson that your ego, that your belief in guilt has no power over you, you're going to have to demonstrate that and manifest that to others, demonstrating that they cannot hurt you and you remain invulnerable to their ego attack. Wow, that's very deep, huh? Very, very deep. They can do nothing that can hurt you. And by refusing to allow them to think they can hurt you, you are teaching them that the healing plan which you have accepted for yourself is also theirs. There is nothing to forgive. And that's because no one can hurt a child of God. The ego can never do damage to that which God has created, or else the ego would be more powerful than God. And so their guilt is wholly without cause. And their guilt being without cause cannot exist. That's because God is the only cause. And guilt is not of God. So teach no one that they have hurt you. Because if you teach others that they have hurt you, you're going to teach yourself that what is not of God has power over you. But that cannot be. It cannot be that something not of God has power over you who is of God. And of Course in Miracles tells us that all suffering is our belief that what is not of God has power over us. You know, that something not of God has power over us. You know, if we knew that what is not of God has no power over us, because all power is of God, and what's not of God has no power, then what would we suffer with? What would we be afraid of? What would we feel hurt by? The truth is that all power is of God. What doesn't come from God has no power, especially over whom God has created. And so to learn that what is not of God has no power over me, I'm going to have to teach that. I'm going to have to manifest that. I'm going to have to demonstrate that to others. And that's what I want to teach. I want to learn the happy lesson that what is not of God, pain, fear, grief, loss, death, lack, has no power over me. I'm upset and in pain because I believe that something God didn't create has power over me. I'm upset because I believe that something that God didn't create has more power than me. It can hurt me. That's why I'm upset. But I don't want to be upset. I don't want to feel vulnerable like that. Who wants to feel vulnerable like that? It's frightening. It's fearful. It's scary to perceive yourself as vulnerable. And I don't want to feel that feeling of vulnerability. I mean, the only way that I can accept my invulnerability and not be afraid of everything's ability to hurt me is by teaching other people that what is not of love, what is not of God, has no power over them. I got to demonstrate that. I got to manifest that so that I can learn that for myself and stop being afraid of everyone and everything. If I knew I wasn't invulnerable as God created me, then what would I be afraid of? What would I be afraid of? So that's the lesson, that what is not of God has no power to do anything, which means if it didn't come from God, it has no power over me. And there's no need for me to fear it or to suffer from it. But I can't learn that unless I demonstrate that to others and teach that. So that's the happy lesson that I want to be teaching, because that's the happy lesson I want to learn. I love that. So God is the only cause. We're in paragraph 8. God is the only cause, and guilt is not of God. So teach no one that they have hurt you. Because if you teach other people that they have hurt you, you're going to teach yourself that what is not of God has power over you. But that can't be. So don't attest to that, which means don't foster belief in that in any mind. Remember always that mind is one and cause is one. You will learn communication with this oneness only when you learn to deny the causeless and accept the cause of God as yours. The power that God has given you is yours, and nothing else can you see or choose to look upon without imposing on yourself the penalty of guilt, in place of all the happy teaching that love is gladly offering you. The power that God has given you is yours, and nothing else can you see or choose to look upon without imposing on yourself the penalty of guilt, in place of all the happy teaching that love wants to gladly offer you. Oh boy, so beautiful, so powerful, so ultimately empowering. Yeah, happy learner, happy learner. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I love it, Diana. Diana says, that's why these same exact things keep happening where I chose with the ego. I literally have seen that in real time with work calls where I wasn't actually being helpful to the customer. And then Diana continues, I get the same caller a few hours later and see, oh yeah, this is an opportunity to choose with spirit this time. Ha ha. The happy lesson, happy learner. Beautiful. Okay. Well, then let's stop here. And let's see, there's a lot more, many more paragraphs in this section. But we're going to stop here. I think you get the gist. We did 8 paragraphs. And this is all about how to be a happy learner, how to learn the lessons that are being presented to us in every trial again, so that where we made a faulty choice before for guilt, we can choose again for guiltlessness and escape the pain that the past choice for guilt has brought to us. And here is an opportunity, and every trial is an opportunity to teach the lesson that what is not of God, what is not of love, has no power over us. How are you going to learn that the pain, the fear, the lack, the loss, the death has no power over you? How are you going to learn that the pain, this problem has no power over you unless you teach that their ego has no power over you? That no matter what they try to do to you, they cannot hurt you. There's only one way to learn and accept that you are invulnerable to what's not coming from love. And that is to teach others that no matter what their ego tries to do to you, they cannot hurt you. It's the only way to learn that all power is of God and that this problem has no power over you. That's the way you do it. All right. Beautiful. I just love, love, love this lesson. It is absolutely one of my favorites, truly. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to do a couple of announcements, and then we'll do maybe 2 to 5 minutes of an integration meditation where we just take the ideas and use them. I mean, and what practical ideas are these? Okay. All right. So, announcement. One of the announcements is right here on the screen already. I wanted to tell you guys about my new website and all the things that you can access on my website. on my website, I'm offering several new video series. So, um, by becoming a member of my website, which doesn't cost anything, you can access my Songs of Freedom video series where I'm just reading the course to beautiful music. It's a very beautiful, powerful healing tool that you can where you can just listen to the course to beautiful, inspiring music. For healing. And the music enables the ideas to go into your subconscious mind so much easier. And it's a beautiful healing tool for when you're not in your right mind, when you're insane and suffering, and you just need to listen to the truth to get back into your right mind. So that series is called Songs of Freedom. There's another series called Ask Anna Anything, where you can ask me whatever you would like to ask somebody who's been a Course in Miracles teacher for 40 years and a holistic psychotherapist for 25 years. And so you go and you put in your question, and then I will respond to it in video or writing. So that's Ask Anna Anything series. There's another series that's there where I'm reading my book. So I'm reading the different pieces in my book. And also, there'll be access to my audiobook where I'm just reading the whole book to beautiful music. So those are some things that are video series that are available on my website. Also, all my writings these days is there on my website. So if you hear the voice for love speaking to you through my writings, there's a place where you can go and read those writings and hopefully be inspired or healed by them. So that's the blog and memes that are on my website as well. So Mary says, thank you, Anna. That was exactly what I needed. Beautiful. That was exactly what I needed too. And also my teaching schedule and class schedule, that's on my website. Or if you want to make a miracle psychotherapeutic appointment with me, which is where I am, I share my psychotherapeutic and Course in Miracles healing gifts with you. So if you want to schedule a miracle psychotherapeutic session with me, you can schedule it there, or find the way to text me to schedule a session. So that's that. If you guys are if you are in the Denver area this Saturday, Dr. Carla and I are doing our monthly Course in Miracles play shop, and this one's going to be on the real world, how to experience the real world and how to access the real world through a loving community. So that's happening in person at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center this Saturday. If you're going to be in town and you want to sign up for that, go to my website and there'll be a place for you to register for that. Okay. All right. And then also, if you want to experience my latest book, Declaration of Independence for the New Earth, you can just go to Amazon Books and it's there. I've been reading from it in my classes recently, and it's a declaration of independence for the new earth. So if you have a calling to take your place among the healers of the world and take your place as midwife for the new earth, then this book is for you. All right, you guys. I appreciate you being here in this class, and let's do a little integration meditation, shall we? I like to end my classes with some using the ideas that we heard. This is a course in the practical application of these beautiful ideas. So let's use them. So I'm going to turn the music up a little bit. Okay. All right. So if you are able, I want you to just close your eyes and take a breath. Take a breath and tune your awareness inward. Breathe. And notice how you feel right now, having heard these ideas. How does it feel to hear these ideas? How does the truth feel in your mind and in your heart and in your body when you hear it? Is it comforting? Is it a release from fear? Does it bring relief from pain? Does it bring you a sense of hope? And just notice how that feels. And breathe. All right. Let's do the prayer. Let's do the process that this section gave us for what to do when we are feeling guilty, when we're experiencing the pain of guilt, which is the same. So I want you to bring your awareness to a situation or a relationship right now where you are experiencing pain, emotional pain, psychic pain, physical pain, or where you are feeling guilt or shame. Where is it right now that you are experiencing the pain of shame? I want you to bring that situation or relationship to your awareness. And I want you to tell yourself, right now, the pain of guilt is seeming to attract me. Right now, I am feeling attracted to the pain of guilt. And tell yourself, I must be deciding against my happiness right now, as I am feeling the pain of guilt that is attracting me. And tell yourself, if I yield to this guilt, if I yield to this perception of guilt, then I will be deciding against my happiness. And I won't learn how to be happy. But I want to learn how to be happy instead of feeling guilty again. And take a breath. Let's review. Tell yourself, the pain of guilt is seeming to attract me now. But if I yield to this temptation to feel guilty, I will be deciding against my happiness and I will not learn how to be happy. But I want to learn how to be happy. And so I'm going to say to myself gently, but with the conviction born of God's love for me, what I experience right now, I will make manifest. If I am guiltless, I have nothing to fear and nothing to hurt for. In this holy instant, I choose to testify to my acceptance of my guiltlessness and not to its rejection. I want to accept my guiltlessness by making my guiltlessness manifest, by sharing my guiltlessness. Let me bring peace to God's children from their Creator. I choose to accept my guiltlessness now for myself and for everyone. Beautiful. All right, guys, that's the way to do it. Write this down. Use it when you're experiencing pain. I appreciate you all more than I can say. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this class in whatever way you choose to do that. And I will see you next time I see you.